I have something to tell you, but I don't know how to put it into words. Today I'm going to talk about the Swedish film Nova and Alice, where two very different artists are forced to go on a tour that will change their lives. Stay with me and I'll tell you the story. We are in Stockholm, and the story follows two singers. Nova, a single woman who loves partying and living life to the fullest, and Alice, a singer solidifying her career with a more conventional personality. She is married with two children. The two women are very different. One afternoon, the record label director proposes a summer tour together to promote their careers. This idea took them by surprise, and of course, they didn't like it.
Nej, men jag tänker att ni två ska köra en gemensam turné tillsammans.
Tillsammans?
Ja.
Du skämtar nu?
Nova doesn't want to participate, but the manager convinces her to do a studio audition, which turns out to be a complete disaster, and the tour is immediately cancelled. Alice is an established star with many years of experience and wants to keep her career going, so she decides to talk to Nova.
Har du tid att prata en stund? Hallå?
On one hand, Alice has a huge following, but she's never written a song. On the other hand, Nova is a creative songwriter who just won her first award. Even though her personal life is a mess and nothing surprises her anymore, she needs Alice to show her something that will change her mind about the tour. Finally, they decide to do the summer tour together and they have their first concert. But it wasn't what they expected. However, the critics tell them something they hadn't even noticed. When Nova appears as a guest on Alice's songs, sparks fly. Is it possible to write music without inspiration? This is what Alice is trying to do, but that night Nova encourages her to write her own song so they can sing it together. They're already starting to feel a connection and they know they have to use it to create something unique.
Det var bra på riktigt. Varför gör du inte det?
As the tour progresses, they let their guard down and begin to realize that working together isn't so bad after all. In fact, sparks truly fly when they sing on stage. One concert follows another, as we all know how the life of musicians is. With each concert, their bond grows stronger. Alice begins to feel something new for Nova, and Nova feels the same way. The connection between them grows ever stronger. And Alice decides to write a song just for the two of them, as a way to express how she feels about Nova. However, she doesn't know how to put it into music.
Inget händer i mitt liv. Vad ska jag skriva om?
Du får testa dig fram.
They finally write the song and perform it together at the next concert. That was the night they discovered how they truly felt, and there's only one way to end a song like that, with love. This scene represents a climax of their emotions. The joint performance not only symbolizes the artistic union of Nova and Alice, but also the emotional connection they have developed throughout the tour. After the concert, it's time to celebrate everything you've accomplished together. It's time to say goodnight, or else face what they both know is inevitable. Sometimes when the music ends, only silence remains. And a single look can change everything. And Alice, for the first time, decides to stop thinking and simply begins to feel. This part of the movie is pretty explicit and I can't show it here, so you'll have to watch it for yourself. The next morning, Alice is very confused. She feels euphoric, but at the same time, she knows this will cause her a lot of trouble. She prefers to think of it as just a fling and not to make a big deal out of it.
Det är sånt som händer på turné, tycker jag, eller?
Although they try to resist, they know the connection between them is strong, and they decide to continue the romance. They share their secrets and even start making future plans together. Something that could be dangerous. This is the romantic phase of the relationship, when everything feels special. They are falling more and more in love, and that is reflected in the scene. But suddenly, Alice's husband shows up, something neither of them expected.
Tja, Sebastian.
Nova.
Jag är ju Alice man.
But the show must go on. From that night on, nothing will ever be the same. The manager discovers they're having an affair and asks Alice what's going on. She tells him it was a mistake and that she only does it to find inspiration for her music. She also tells her that Nova is obsessed with her, and that's not a good thing. Unfortunately, Nova overhears the conversation and decides to leave the hotel early. This affects her deeply. She falls into a depression and starts drinking right on the night of the concert. She ends up passing out and can't continue with the show. The next day, they meet at the hotel and Nova can no longer hide the truth. He has truly fallen in love with her and he wants to know what will happen after the tour ends.
Jag vet inte. Vad vill du? Jag vill vara med dig.
Alice has also fallen in love with her, and even though she knows it will be very difficult for them to be together, she has decided that she wants to stay by her side anyway. They kiss as if they were alone in the hotel and the world only existed for them. But her happiness is short-lived, as Alice returns to her family and discovers that her husband is ill and needs treatment, so they cannot stay with her for now. It is a difficult decision for her, but a necessary one.
Vad menar du? Du och jag kommer inte kunna göra det här.
They have to part ways, even though the tour isn't over yet, since their relationship is affecting the whole team. When Alice returns home, her husband learns from the press that she has had an affair with Nova and asks her if it is true. They have to separate for good, but Nova can't bear it any longer. And one afternoon, she appears at his house in the rain. She knows that what they experienced was more than a fleeting adventure, but when she sees Alice with her son, she decides to distance herself for her own good. They both go on with their lives, but one day Alice is nominated for a major award. The same award Nova won years ago. That night they meet at the ceremony, and when Alice goes up to accept her award from Nova herself, she realizes that they are still in love. On the other hand, Alice feels that she no longer loves her husband, and that she cannot continue with the marriage. She decides to give her relationship with Nova another chance, since Nova is the person who made her shine and with whom she has found true love. The story ends when they reunite and look at each other as if no time had passed. Conclusion. It's a romantic film with a believable story, simple yet touching at the same time. I really liked the plot twist, even though we already had a pretty good idea of what was going to happen. Everything turned out to be more interesting thanks to the strong performances by the two actresses. The best part, without a doubt, the music. I enjoyed it a lot and I think the songs are really good. At times I felt like I was watching a real concert. At this point, Swedish music has completely won me over. The development of their romance is also very well done, from the obvious chemistry between them to the important decisions they make in their lives. This isn't a movie about music, but about relationships and how love can set you free when you discover yourself. I think it's one of the best lesbian movies of 2024. I highly recommend watching it. You can currently rent it on YouTube Movies and watch it for free on SVT Play. But you'll need to connect to a VPN in Sweden. I'll leave the links in the description. Thanks for subscribing and for your comments. See you in the next video.